Mama me oh money for one mama me for one mama me oh me die nasa se one mama smile on pesa mauda oya no kwasa muda so do you want to yankura let me see you je me kada mudunti monsuroshi no pa me nyubo inti rambe sabater mama some you want some number one mama da Mama, someone you want some number one.
94, 95, 96, 97.3 City FM. It doesn't get any better than that.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
97.3 City FM. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. I am Sammy Wiafi, and tonight I'm here with
Akosia Oche.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
As we speak today, we are meeting with ECG to find out exactly what the issues are and to iron out the differences so we can get back to the public.
Public Utility Regulatory Commission, PRC, locked up in a meeting with officials of Electricity Company of Ghana over recent complaints of prepaid credit depletion. Also coming up on Eyewitness News. 71 fishermen rescued following robbery incident at sea in Senyabreku in the central region. Tonight we get details of the rescue effort. And later, extradition proceedings begin in the United States of America against former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Stay with 97.3 CTFM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. Later coming up in business.
Government's edge to fast-track projects amid easing construction costs.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. And talking about affiliates.
In the Western region, we are live on Premier 100.5 FM, Beach 105.5 FM, and Sky 93.5 FM, all in Takrady. In the Bono region, you can catch us live on Greener 95.9 FM, Sunyani. In the Shanti region, tune in to Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. And in Somanya in the Eastern region, right 90.1 FM. In the Volta region, Holy 98.5 in Aplawa. And in the Northern region, you can tune in to Dasuma if you're in Yendi on 99.1 FM. In the Upper East region, we're on WED 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. Navrongo, we are live on Mike 105.3 FM. In Bolgatanga, we're also live on 102.7 FM. And also later in Western region, Bugli Radio 86.8 FM.
You can also join a conversation with your WhatsApp messages. The number to send it to is 0539 986 996. 0539 986 996. Let's start with our first story. Let's go to the central region.
Now, 71 fishermen who were left stranded during the Senyabreku Sea robbery incident have been successfully rescued. All the fishermen were stranded after suspected hijackers reportedly attacked them and fled with their outboard motors amid gunfire at Senyabreku in the central region. Occupying 2 locally manufactured canoes, the team was brought safely to shore by a rescue operation involving the Marine Police and NADMO. Our reports indicate that other canoes have been located and efforts are ongoing to bring the occupants safely to shore.
Let's go to the phone and speak to our correspondent, Akwesi Ado, who is monitoring development in the Senyabreku area. Akwesi, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Narrate to us what really happened.
Good evening, Sammy, and thank you for having me. So, it was during last night when fishermen had gone on a fishing expedition along the eastern part of the ocean when this particular incident occurred. So, according to the fishermen, they saw quite a number of boats which they cannot really give a specific number approaching them. and these canoes had on board some men. According to them, they were approached and asked to dismantle their outboard motors and then hand it over to them. According to the firemen, according to the fisher folks, they also saw the men pulling out some weapons. These are guns, and then pointing it at them, that if they failed to give them the outboard motors, they were going to shoot at them. So they were left with no option but to remove the outboard motors and then hand it over to them. Now, when the men took away the outboard motors, they were left stranded on the sea because there were no means for them to be able to get access to any form of mobility and then return back to shore. So the whole of last night through to this afternoon, it's only been a search and rescue activity for officers from the Ghana Navy, Marine Police, and then NADMO, as well as some dedicated local folks from Senyabioku in trying to look for these very people. And let me mention that officially, the 71 people who were robbed at sea have all been successfully rescued. 47 of them were rescued and then brought to the Senyabioku landing bridge, while the remainder were also rescued in Tema. And so this is the latest information we can offer. We've had all the 71 victims rescued and successfully brought to shore. Let me also add that out of the 47 victims that were brought to Senyabioku, 3 of them were minors. They were below the age of 16.
Kwesi, you said this happened last night. What time specifically are we talking about?
So according to the time given us by the victims, the entire robbery incident occurred between the hours of 20 GMT and then 23 GMT, so that is around 8 and then 11 p.m. Now, it became very difficult for the victims to establish contact on land because the network reception on sea was quite poor. So for the people in Senyabioku, it was fortunate on their part because one of the canoes actually tried and then managed to escape the robbery incident. So they came back to the community to report that this was what had happened on sea. And just when community members as well as security officers were trying to embark on a search, a phone call came through from the victims on sea. So it became quite easier for the search party to be able to locate the fishermen, leading to their successful rescue.
We are told that this was carried out by robbers. Have the police given you any information as to arrest who these robbers are, if they are Ghanaians or not Ghanaians? Have you had any information in respect of this?
So officially, the Ghana Police Service or the Marine Department of the Police Service has not offered any official information, even though the Director General of the Marine Department of the Ghana Police Service was available at the Senyabioku beach. So what we have gathered from the victims is that the people who attacked them, that is the robbers, they were in mass, they were wielding firearms. They cannot give a specific number of the robbers. Neither can they give a specific number of the canoes that were used by these robbers. But what they are able to tell us is that these robbers were speaking no other language but Pidgin, which is broken English. And so from the accent, they suspect that they may be foreigners, not Ghanaians. But what they are asking for is for the government to put in place adequate security measures to ensure the safety and security of fishermen while they go on expeditions at sea. Now, let me also mention that this incident has really sparked some sort of fear among fishermen in this particular area, because we did engage the Central Regional Chairman for the Canoe Fishermen Association of Ghana, and then what he told us is that recently, or in some time past, they got to witness patrol activity of personnel from the Navy as well as the Marine Police, but now they are not witnessing those things, and so they say that might have given the robbers that kind of urge to perpetrate this particular act in the area.
Kwesi, there's 71. Are these the actual number of people who were at sea when the incident happened, or that's the only number they've been able to rescue? Is it a full number?
So the 71 is the actual number of the Ghanaian fishermen who went for the fishing expedition. Because at Senyabreko, we had 6 fishing canoes. These are locally manufactured canoes, safely brought on shore. And then somewhere in Tema, from official records, we also had one of the canoes also docking at Tema. So the actual number of victims or fishermen who were rescued at Senyabreko stand at 47, and then the remainder accounts for the people who docked successfully at Tema. So for now, all search activities have been brought to an end, and then officials have reported that all the people or all victims who encountered this robbery incident at sea have all been rescued.
Kwesi, thank you very much for your time. Akwesi Ado is our Central Regional Correspondent speaking to us from Senyabreko in the Central Region. Let's go to the other line and speak to Reverend John Intim Fojo. He's a ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. Told he's not yet on the telephone. I will try and raise him on the telephone and speak to him on this matter. But whilst my producer tried to raise him, the Ghana Armed Forces have also issued a statement in respect of this same issue, and it's signed by Veronica Ahin Captain, who is the Acting Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana Armed Forces. But before I read that statement, let's go onto the phone again and speak to the Member of Parliament for the Ewutu Senya West Constituency, Gisela Tete, on this particular development. Madam, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. You are the MP for the area. What briefing have you had so far as this matter is concerned?
Thank you very much. Well, I've been there since this morning. I got there around 9:30, and I was there till the last fisherman was brought to shore. I heard it last night through my constituency chairman about 10:40. That's when I got the information. And we had to do our own local discussion. In addition, make some phone calls beyond our constituency. I spoke to the Deputy Minister of Defense, the Navy Chief of Staff, the Army, and a few others. And so it was a collective effort to get this done.
What stories have they been telling you? What really happened? You know, they went on sea, and then what happened?
Their regular fishing expedition, you know, that they go on sea, and then, as one of them said, like a movie, he sees these guns and these things only in movies. You know, then they are coming to their boats, and then, you know, literally taking their outboard motors. And when they do that, you are literally motorless. So you just have to be perching on the surface of the water till, you know, someone comes to your rescue. Fortunately, we had a few of them who had their phones on, and were able to call a few of them to find out. I called around midnight to tell them that, you know, help was on the way. You know, and then, that is it. So it's been quite a day.
So I want to get this understanding. So they took the boat from them, and then they just left them in the sea to swim and survive. Is that it?
No. They didn't take the boat from them. They took their outboard motors off. They stole their outboard motors, and the generator said, when they do that, you don't have any motor. So
yes, that means you can't move, yeah. You
can't move, yes. So there are about 6 of them. 6 of them that has happened to. So eventually, 2 of them were helped to Tema. They got help to be towed. Now, the Navy identified them, I think, and they are the naval base. I think they're naval base right now, those 2 canoes. But you know how these canoes, they tend to, sometimes you can go and maybe your outboard motor gets spoiled, so someone can help you. You are literally stuck to them, you know, like 2 boats are sharing one outboard motor kind of thing. So 2 of them managed to get to Tema in that way. on one of the boats there was 9 people, on another one there was 15. And then the ones that now came ashore at Senyabreku, they were 4, with different numbers of people, on the boat. But in total, 47. So as they came to shore, we made them sit and rest a bit. I mean, it's been traumatic for them. It was one guy told me that he's never heard of this. It is the last time he heard of this was when he was a child, and he's about 35. So maybe it's just something that we have to be a bit more alert on our coastlines, because the fishermen, a lot of them don't go armed. But I was just thinking, what if they were armed and decided to have a battle? What would have happened?
That was really my next question. If this has happened before, or this is the first time, that was really my next question.
Well, like I said, someone told me that it happened many when he was young, and he's about 35. So it just gives you an idea of when something like this happened.
This might have put fear in them. I'm not sure they will go for fishing anytime soon. Have they told you that
the fishermen, they will go? They live on the sea. This is their life. They will go. They will just settle a bit, because if there's fish to catch, why would you sit at home?
Despite this horrible incident, they may want to go back?
They will go. They will go. They will go, but it may take some time, actually. So when they came on shore, after NADMO took their details and TRD took their details, we got a desk in the senior polyclinic to come and check all their vitals, BP and everything, because you never know, somebody may be hypertensive and this situation happened, just to check all that. And eventually, I think from tomorrow, the police are going to do a bit more investigations. We just decided to let them rest and go, just go home. And then from tomorrow, they will start the investigations thoroughly, talking to all of them, each of them, what happened, their narration, their story, and then we take it from there.
As a member of parliament for the area and as a deputy minister, let's talk about their security. Will you consider providing them with security the next time they go on such expedition because of what has happened?
Well, we discussed with the police Central East Command as we were all there. We're discussing what are the possibilities, what we could do to increase the security. Like I said, it's never really been an issue. So we're quickly going to have to discuss further. After the discussions the investigations have taken place and all, and then we'll see what measures we will. Especially the fact that there was conflicting. At one point, I heard there were 8 boats. Next time, there were 13. Then I heard there were 6. So that got me a bit confused as to what exactly the numbers. But eventually, so just like how maybe an airline would have a manifest, that is one of the things that at least every boat going out, we will know who has gone out and how many people, maybe even the people on board, who have gone on that particular boat. That information would also help to know who is out there and who is not. But I'm sure some of this discussion this will affect the whole coastline. I think this discussion would go to higher levels, and definitely some of us will be consulted because this happened in our constituencies.
I've just received a text message from a listener who is asking if you will support any idea for these fisher folks to next time embark on this expedition prepared, as in having weapons for any of such incidents.
Let's see. I'm sure the discussions would go on further because I dread to think what would have happened if there was a gun battle, and if outbound motors had been taken off, and all boats were literally motorless, and somebody was hurt, and it may take a few hours to get to the person. I dread to think of that scenario, but the discussion would definitely go on. His Excellency the President also called because he wanted a briefing on what had happened. The acting Defense Minister also spoke to him in the afternoon. So I think that the broader discussion would be had on marine security.
Madam, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Member of Parliament for the Witu Senya West constituency, Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, Madam Gisela Tete Abuchi. Let's go to the phone line again and speak to Reverend Johnny Timfojo. He's a ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament and an MP for Ascent South constituency, also from the Central Region. Rev, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. As a ranking member on the committee, what briefing do you have on this matter?
Yeah, good evening, Sammy. Indeed, it's really sad and unfortunate that fisher folks no longer feel safe, and in their usual fishing expedition, they had to face this threat. I want to first commend the Ghana Navy and the Air Force for their successful joint rescue operation, which resulted in evacuating to safety all the victims on board the boat. I also want to commend the Member of Parliament for Utu Senya West, Honorable Zela Tete Agoti, for her responsive role and the coordinating role she played in ensuring the success of this operation. We on the minority side will resist every attempt to politicize this. In fact, it's an unfortunate security situation, but we would also be quick to indicate that we need to put in place certain measures that are imperative to ensure that our waters are safe. Just as the Eyewitness account, one of the victims indicated, it's not a very common thing for fishermen to have this threats happening. But for some time now, we've had piracies being quite common. There was one that occurred involving a Chinese fishing vessel in Kermad. There was another one in Volta, and now Central Region. We have come to a time where our traders who are going to Burkina for cross-border trade do not feel safe. 8 of them killed in a sad terrorist incident. And today, our fisher folks are in fear whether they could go fishing safely. That begs the call for the appointment of a substantive defense minister. And Sammy, for the past month, when I started making these calls, many people did not appreciate. But in the international system, there are all kinds of external actors, and each of them assessing a country's security preparedness. One of the first things they will look at is their security sector governance, the leadership of their security sector. Once they detect that at the outset, you are lacking a defense minister for 7 months, they think that this country is not serious.
But even if there's a defense minister, if there will be attack, there will be attack. What has the absence of a defense minister got to do some of these attacks?
When you have a defense minister, it's just like a household having the requisite security system in place. If an armed robber is coming in and they know there are 5 houses, and this particular house has a dog, has a security guard, has CCTV, and has full security installation, they will think twice before they attack. So no one must downplay the role of a defense minister who, according to Article 83, is an integral part of our national security architecture. As a matter of fact, according to our Constitution, he is a prominent member of the National Security Council, and it is for a reason that the Constitution indicates. So for anyone to think that for 7 months a country can run without a defense minister, and that does not undermine the security and does not undermine the territorial integrity of the country, the person is being disingenuous. Now the second thing again,
but we have an acting defense minister.
No, you have an acting defense minister
and a deputy minister at that too.
Sammy, you have an acting defense minister who is not coming from a security sector. He's a finance minister. Finance minister in many countries are 2 ministries: Ministry for Economic Planning and Finance. In Ghana, it is one. In every country, it's the most complex ministry. And so, if you want to add on 2 major portfolios for one person to handle, you are likely to run into security sector crisis. Now, you see, what we are talking about is that at a time when, because of the lack of the substantive oversight, the first oversight of the security sector is not Parliament. The first is the Ministry of Defense. That is for which reason the minister is supposed to be exercising oversight over the defense sector, providing broad policies, sound policies, and ensuring that there is that joint coordination of intelligence. Intelligence will ensure that we are pragmatic to pick where threats are able or can likely emanate from, for us to be able to arrange for patrolling to be intensified in those areas to ward off threats. You are also lacking the opportunity to have a substantive minister who will have daily 24-hour attention and engagement with the soldiers who are involved in the tactical and operational implementation of our security sector. That said, and we are recommending that the president must immediately appoint a defense minister. We have had 6 people who died at Elwak during the recruitment failure. We have had 8 people killed in terrorist attack in Burkina. Now we have 71 people who were helpless on the sea and didn't feel safe because they were attacked by pirates. Which other calamity are we waiting for before we hear the calls to appoint a defense minister? But beyond that, another conversation I want us to depoliticize and look at comprehensively without any partisan consideration is retooling the Ghana Navy. You see, we've had a lot of discussions around offshore patrol vessels, and to date, that discussion has not culminated into an agreement. The last that this agreement was brought to the floor of Parliament when Honorable Dominic Nitiwu was the minister, and it was torpedoed by the NDC, save for the Honorable James Agaga, who was then the ranking member on Defense and Interior. He was the only NDC MP who supported that agreement. The rest torpedoed it. That was when we had a hung parliament, and therefore we're even struggling to have numbers to pass certain bills. And when we were able to cross that hurdle, IMF brought restrictions. When we managed to negotiate with IMF to agree for us to purchase and to secure that facility to buy 2 offshore patrol vessels, which are combat vessels, and it was around the transition period. The NDC failed to support. We are today. We are saying that they should bring that agreement. We will not torpedo it. We will support it.
Thank you.
That combat OPV.
Okay, all right. Reverend, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Reverend John Intim Fojo, ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament and the MP for Asen South constituency in the Central Region. A statement just coming in from the Ghana Armed Forces on this same matter, signed by Captain Veronica Ahin, Acting Director General of Public Relations for the Ghana Armed Forces, and it says the Ghana Armed Forces has concluded its search and rescue operations, which started at dawn today to locate distressed Ghanaian fishermen at sea. It says which happened at Nyanyano and Senya Breku in the Central Region. The fishermen got stranded after they were attacked by robbers who disposed the entire fishermen of their outboard motors and personal belongings. Affected boats include Argentina 2, Argentina 3, Sea Lion, and Berima Insunkwa, among others. The Ghana Navy carried out the rescue effort together with the Ghana Air Force, supported by local fishermen from Nyanyano and Senya Breku general areas. The Ghana Navy Special Boat Squadron with fast interceptors, supported by others from the Ghana Navy ship from Eastern and Western Naval Command, were key to the rescue mission, which resulted in the safe evacuation from sea of 24 to 47 victims from Tema and Nyanyano. Interviews from the fishermen rescued indicate that no Ghanaian fisherman had been kidnapped. Meanwhile, the Ghana Navy is continuing with its patrols within this area to ensure that no other incidents happen. The Ghana Armed Forces urges all fishermen and maritime users to exercise restrained caution and report any suspicious activities as the situation is being assessed. And I said earlier, signed by Captain Veronica Ajo Ahin, the Acting Director General Public Relations of the Ghana Armed Forces. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We go for a quick break. When we come back, the PURC is still locked up in a meeting with officials of the Electricity Company of Ghana over recent complaints of prepaid credit depletion.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Imagine making or collecting all payments without leaving your chair. Sounds like magic, right? Nah, it's Stanbic Pay.
As the Chief Financial Director of SBA Holdings Limited, payments from clients flow like magic through Stanbic Pay.
From school fees to utilities, government and statutory payment to investment, insurance payment, Hajj payment, and more. Just log on to Stanbic Pay and you're set for life. No Stanbic account, no queues, no stress, no last-minute panic.
Cherish your time and live happier in safety. security and convenience.
Just visit stanbicbank.com.gh or call 030-340-9212 or 055-676-0683 to get started.
Oh, jump on now.
Go, Google me. And what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
Go, the go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Hey, Auntie Akos. My momo is finished, but I still want to buy some pepper.
Hey, you are still stressing. You haven't heard about Extra Balance from Forms Capital?
Extra Balance? Which one too is that?
It's a good way to get a small boost for your momo wallet when the pockets are dry. Extra Balance will give you a little extra money to sort yourself out till your next top up.
So, even me, I can use it?
Of course! Extra Balance helps everybody. Market women, students, small traders. No wallet left behind. With Extra Balance from Forms Capital, you get a little extra when your wallet runs low. Also, the interest is only charged for the days you actually use the money. It's part of our mission to drive community growth and financial inclusion, because when everybody can move forward, we all win. Sign up for free on the Momo app, navigate to Financial Services, Advances, and select Extra Balance to register, or dial *170#, select 5, select 3, then select 4 to activate Extra Balance. Live extra with Extra Balance.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Now, the Public Utility Regulatory Commission is locked up in the meeting with officials of the Electricity Company of Ghana of recent complaints of prepaid credit depletion. Akosia.
Well, yes, the meeting is ongoing, and according to the Commission, the agenda includes a detailed technical briefing on the implementation of the revised tariff within the prepaid vending and metering system. Or ECG is also expected to present reports on vending data, trends, meter update protocols, the scale and nature of consumer complaints, and measures being taken to address them. Let's hear from Director of Research and Corporate Affairs of PURC, Dr. Eric Ubute.
I agree with you on that score. And that's what I was saying, that we do the meter testing on a random basis, but we don't do it on a very large because, one, our meter labs are not that big, and two, if we want to do it on large scale, we have to collaborate with the Standards Authority. But point well taken. We'll make sure that maybe we need to do it more frequently and to do it across the country. We do not have the manpower to go to every household or to every community to undertake this meter testing. But whenever issues of this nature come up, we take it up and we move quickly into the communities to undertake those meter testing. We have done a lot of these complaints issues with meters in the north, in the Ashanti region, in Greater Accra region. We've done a lot, and we've even recovered funds for consumers. So some of these institutions have even got money paid back to them because of wrong calibration of their meters. So maybe fair point, yes. We have to do more of that.
You heard that from Director of Research and Corporate Affairs of the PURC, Dr. Eric Ubute.
Let's just stay on this story and speak to Collins Admoko-Mensah. He's the Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee of Parliament, a former Deputy Minister of Energy himself, and he's also the Member of Parliament for the Fija-Kwabre North constituency in the Ashanti region. Collins, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure your constituents have also complained to you about these prepaid issues. As a committee, have you had the opportunity to hear from ECG on these complaints?
Well, good evening to yourself. As a committee, we've not personally called them. I just spoke to the chairman of the committee. I think next week we are summoning them to come and meet the committee and give us some explanations. We've had some informal communications with the minister and his deputy. And the minister informed us that he was calling an emergency meeting. And I think it was that emergency meeting that culminated into this investigation, where he gave them 7 days to report back to him. I returned from my constituency over the weekend, and my brother, is terrible. Apart from the rampant or the frequency of the credits moving away, we also had challenges with light-offs. So, yes, I'm a consumer myself. Before I left, I bought 1,000 Ghana cedis. When I returned, I had just about 300 Ghana cedis as credits left, and it's quite a troubling situation. If you go to social media, you listen to ordinary Ghanaians, I think definitely there must be a genuine problem. And I'm happy the minister requested for a probe. I am also aware that PURC had a meeting with ECG and some of the power players. I think it's a little bit too late. The complaint started about a week or two ago, and I was expecting PURC as a regulator to have stepped in a long time ago, not to just wait for the minister to give them direction. But be that as may, it has happened. Let's see the outcome of that meeting. But it is very clear to everybody that something fundamentally must be wrong with our meters.
As a former deputy minister, you know what really could be the problem?
I actually do not know. I know that since last year, there's been about 28.2% increment in electricity tariffs. But as I said, the speed at which the credit gets eroded, I'm not too sure the 28.2% is what is being implemented. There must be a fundamental problem somewhere. I can't tell. I'm sure the technical people will give us an idea. But obviously, this is really, really an abnormal situation.
I've heard an official of the ECG say that, the readings we are seeing are actually the readings because of the introduction of these new smart meters. The old ones were not giving the accurate reading. Actually, these new smart meters are giving the right and the correct reading. So it is just it is that it is, and so there should be much complaint about it. Is the actual reading of these meters?
I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised if this is coming from an official of ECG. ECG themselves, just about a month or two ago, when we met them, informed us that as far back as 2024, almost 1 million smart meters were installed at the close of 2024. So these smart meters has been with us. It's not meters that were just installed just 2 days or 3 days ago. They've been with us, and that exercise has been in the progress. It's been continuing. People are still new installations are being done. These rapid erosion of our credits started about a month or 3 weeks to a month ago. So I'm not too sure what they mean by it's because of new smart meters that were installed. I'm aware, and whilst I was at the ministry, and this is confirmed by data, they themselves, ECG, gave us this data, that close to about 1 million smart meters were installed prior to 2025. So I don't know where this is coming from.
What could be your expectation after this meeting between PURC and ECG?
Well, our expectation all this while has been that PURC should reduce our tariffs. Don't forget that PURC increases tariffs on the basis of some parameters. In the last fourth quarter adjustments, the parameters that they use, the projections, were clearly offline. The interest rates, the exchange rates, and the inflation rates that they used clearly performed better under the fourth quarter. We rather are expecting that PURC should be announcing a reduction in tariffs. My expectation is that if at the end of the meeting, apart from reducing tariffs, if at the end of the meeting it turns out that these rapid erosion of our credit is as a result of some inefficiency somewhere, consumers must be compensated for the loss that we've incurred. That is our expectation.
Collins, thank you very much for your time. Collins Ademoka Mensah is Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee of Parliament, a former Deputy Energy Minister, a Member of Parliament for the Efija Kwaben North constituency in the Ashanti region. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Because I'll give you our story. Former Finance Minister.
Yes, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, says extradition processes have commenced this week in the United States against former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Well, the OSP disclosed in court that 2 separate proceedings have been instituted against the former minister in the U.S., one relating to alleged immigration violations and the other concerning Ghana's former extradition request. The OSP reminded the court that it had previously secured permission for summons to be issued for service of the charge sheet on Ofori-Atta and another accused, Ernest Darko, and the case has been adjourned to March 26, 2026. Let's take you to Parliament, where the majority is urging the minority caucus to seek a constitutional interpretation from the Supreme Court over concerns regarding the ministerial guidelines for distributing the District Assembly's Common Fund. The minority had argued that the 2025 utilization guidelines, which prescribe fixed national percentage, breach the Constitution and undermine the autonomy of district assemblies. However, the majority leader, Mahama Ayoriga, dismissed the calls for parliamentary investigation.
So the only issue for determination is whether those guidelines are legal or illegal. That's the only issue for determination. That's the only issue for determination. And you know where to go and seek that determination. You know where to go to. We went there and we got a ruling that showed us how the allocation to the district assemblies should be computed, including oil revenue. We went to court. You are free to go to court. This is a court that is impartial. This is a court that will give, verdict in favor of even the minority. And you will come to this house and celebrate the verdict. So you are free to go to this same court. We have issued guidelines to the assemblies, and we will issue it next year, and we will issue it the year after, and we will monitor to ensure that they comply by those guidelines. Because this is the surest way to ensure that when monies are sent to the assemblies, those monies are indeed used.
You heard that from Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga. Now, the minority in Parliament is also warning that the accelerated National Reserve accumulation policy could lead to further environmental degradation, particularly through illegal mining activities. Or contributing to the debate on the policy document presented to the House, the ranking member on the Finance Committee, Mohammed Amin Adam, expressed concern about the program's implications.
The report indicates that under this program, the government would target to buy 127 tons of gold annually from small-scale miners. That is worrying for me because even at lower volumes, they couldn't achieve their target from traceable gold. They had to resort to buying gold from Galamsey operators. And this, His Excellency the President Mahama, alluded to this. And so with the level of volumes they are talking about, 127 tons annually from small-scale miners, I am afraid our environment is in danger. The lives of Ghanaians are in danger because this government, as they have done before last year, will resort to buying these volumes of gold from Galamsey operators.
You heard that from ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Mohammed Amin Adam.
You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages before we go on a quick break. Jones Adoboyinla says, good evening, Sammy. I can't wait to see Ken Ofori-Atta extradited to Ghana. The trial of Ken Ofori-Atta alone is enough for me. Akapo in our Mem says, government has increased price of all utility services despite the claims of having low exchange rate and inflation. The same government expect Ghanaian business men and women to reduce prices of their goods and services. This is unfair. Abi National Inwa says, I appeal to the president to look into the workers of ECG and VRA by doing massive changes. Wills Yoga in Whole West constituency says, Ghana urgently needs a defense minister, especially after recent attacks on fishermen in Senya Breku returning from night fishing. The safety of our citizens is important. President should act immediately to appoint a capable leader who address the security concerns of our country. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we have more stories.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hey, Andra, challenge these days new level crown. Where did you pass?
Me, pass somewhere. I just switched for a better life. Hey. I switched for comfort. Look, your salary deserves better.
Switch?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
I switched my salary account to Fidelity Bank. Oh, okay. And that's my jackpot. I get higher loan amounts with lower interest rates, as well as personalized financial support. They gave me a loan to expand my side hustle, and the terms are just flexible.
Wow.
Your salary deserves better.
Oh, my salary deserves better, Pa. You see the way you are smiling wide? Yes, I will switch and smile wider.
Your salary deserves better. Switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy lower interest rate, car and home loan, personalized financial support, and a smile that lasts. Switch and smile wider. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
If I believe with us, Fidelity. If I know I day your side, Fidelity.
Ramadan Kareem, a season of peace, lessons, and giving. Electroland Ghana Limited is bringing blessings into your home with special value deals on Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO. NASCO TVs from just $699, bottom fridge freezer from $1999, chest freezer from $1999, Samsung 6kg twin tab washing machine for 2,999 Ghana cedis, Samsung microwaves from 1,799 Ghana cedis, TCL 43 inches for 2,999 Ghana cedis, TCL water dispenser for 1,599 Ghana cedis, TCL front load inverter for 5,999 Ghana cedis, Media air cooler for 1,499 Ghana cedis, air fryer, juicer, stand mixer, and blender at all special Ramadan prices. Visit EGL showrooms and authorized dealers nationwide. Call us on 0503-159739 and on our website at www.electrolandgh.com. Electroland Ghana, bringing Ramadan value home.
Momo. It has made life happen in lots of good ways.
Mr. Kwanzaa, Mensaka insurance claim no.
It has put together beautiful weddings. It has filled the bellies of boys at their favorite watchy joint.
My guy, stop. Who they chop cancel these days?
It has made millions of businesses possible.
Mensaka no. We are back in business.
With just a few taps, money moves faster, easier, and safer. Momo understands the weight of your trust in us. We continuously enhance security with features like self-paying reset to help you protect your money. Momo will only call you with 0244 300,000. No MTN or Momo staff will call or ask for your PIN or one-time password. Do not transfer funds to anyone whose identity you have not verified. Do not approve any prompts you have not initiated. Momo, still Munsaka. Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Yeah, welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. This week, the Environmental Protection Agency and its Chief Executive Officer announced that it will need an amount of $35 million to ensure that the Brim River is clean and back to its old glory. According to the CEO, a pilot application of a new chemical known as the ionic nano copper technology will help restore all polluted river bodies to its old glory. But there's some people who hold a different opinion on this matter. Let's speak to Dr. Ekpo Eyima Aka. He's a lecturer at the Department of Food and Nutrition Education at the University of Education in Winneba. Doc, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. You're thinking that $35 million, as the Chief Executive Officer is saying, will not be the best solution to this problem?
Yes.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, Sammy, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I think that it will better be served by giving it to the Ghana Water and Sewage Ghana Water Company Limited to boost the water purification system. I also think that there are better alternatives to throwing this much money down the drain.
They did a pilot, and the pilot showed some positive results, and so the reason why there's a push for from her and the organization to embark on such a project, because the results, which was a pilot one, gave some positive feedback?
What positive feedback can you talk about? You are alleging that they said they've got some positive results. Tell me, what are these positive results?
So they showed us a bottle, which we saw on video, of how, you know, clean the water is after applying the chemical on a pilot basis.
You see, did you have a capacity to assess the water quality that they showed to you?
Not at all, Doc. We only saw the videos and the pictures as they showed to us.
Exactly what you're saying. So it's aesthetic. To date, FDA has not made a public disclosure of the nature of the nano material they are using, so that there will be a credible scientific peer review, so that the scientific community can engage with them and give them proper feedback. As is done elsewhere, if you're coming out with such a technology, coming to disseminate it or is to have a wide public health implication, you're supposed to take it through a public peer review mechanism, give the scientific and the technical community outside FDA to review and give you feedback. I am asking you, you are on the ground as a media person. Maybe I missed it. Have they done anything like that?
I don't know about that, sir.
I don't know either. But what we can say is that if the water color has changed, it does not mean that the heavy metals have disappeared. For example, you could just flocculate and sediment the heavy metals, and they will be settling at the bottom of the water body or the river, acting as a secondary source of pollution. You see, with time. The worst case scenario is that if the nano liquid that they claim was introduced or poured into the water bodies dissolved, any of our brothers and sisters in the village who drinks from it is actually being poisoned much more than before.
So, Doc, what will be your proposal?
So they're being poisoned much more than before because copper itself is a heavy metal. Copper itself is, in fact, EPA regulates the limit of copper in water bodies. It shouldn't exceed more than 2 milligrams per liter. And now they themselves are dosing our rivers, which is a source of livelihood and water supply system for our rural folks. And currently, as we speak, that is where they source their water from.
So we should.
There are other alternatives. Do you see that?
I get you. So we shouldn't go down that path.
That path is not recommendable. The core problem is that copper nanotechnology acts as a secondary source of pollution rather than a cure. Because itself at the threshold is also a toxicant. And then when you add it to the water body, please, did they tell you that it removes the heavy metal from the soil or from the water? Hello,
Doc, I'm here. I'm afraid the questions you are asking me, I won't be in a position to answer them.
So let me give you the answer. The answer is that whatever they introduced into the water has added up to the pollution in the water. So before we had mercury, we had lead, we had cadmium, etc., being introduced, arsenic, etc., being present because of galamsey in the water. Then you are also adding copper itself, which is a heavy metal, into the water. And the flocculant or nano ion particles that they added to the water are still in the water body. The trick is that they sediment. They may settle at the bottom of the water or they will dissolve in the water. Once they dissolve in the water, that is where they release their potency. Ionic copper is so potent. Copper is good at a minimal level. It serves very important metabolic functions in the human physiology. But it is a heavy metal nonetheless. And beyond a threshold that EPA themselves have set at 2 milligrams per liter of water, it becomes toxic. It becomes toxic. When you release it into the water body, pH levels, ionic strength, natural organic matter, you're talking about humic acids, all of them begin to interact with the ion. And they in the soluble form, it becomes so dangerous if you exceed the threshold, and it is associated with kidney damage in humans.
Okay.
And liver damage as well.
Okay. Doc, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Dr. Ekpo Eyima Aka.
Let me just wrap up. Let me say this.
In 30 seconds, because we are racing against time.
Yes, the recommendation is that we should rather use eco-friendly strategies. That is what I thought they were using. Phytoremediation is there. It could be used. You see, that will help. You see, rather the money that they use, that 200,000 Ghana cedis could have been used for Ghana Water Company Limited to boost the strength of our water treatment system in removing these things under controlled conditions. You see that?
Okay.
So they should stop the nano dosing immediately. They should deploy eco-friendly strategies, and then they should direct the funding either to Ghana Water Company Limited or they should give it to the cocoa farmers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doc, thank you very much for your time here with us. Dr. Ekpo Eyima Aka, lecturer at the Department of Food and Nutrition Education at the University of Education, Winneba. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. We go for business news now. And remember, business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Enjoy the Republic verse. Do more, shine more. Big up.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house,
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Akosia Otre. Let's settle for the details. Our government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu says the sustained moderation in building inflation presents a strategic opportunity for government to accelerate priority infrastructure projects. All his remarks follow the latest Prime Building Cost Index released by the Ghana Statistical Service, which shows that construction inflation eased further to 3.9% in January 2026, down from 4.4% in December 2025. While addressing the press in Accra, Dr. Alhassan Idrisu urged policymakers and private sector developers to capitalize on the easing construction cost environment to secure contracts ahead of any potential rebound in prices.
What are the key drivers this month? Skilled labor, material-related items, especially tiles, steel, electrical waste, glazing, metal work, and surface finishes contributed strongly to inflation. At the same time, falling cement prices, reinforcement, and fine aggregates helped offset some of the pressure. What does this mean for you? For government, this is a window to fast-track strategic infrastructure projects while inflation remains relatively low. At the same time, The labor trends highlight the need to invest in skills training for artisans. For businesses, this may be a good time to secure contracts and lock in prices before any potential rebound. For households, with cement prices declining and inflation moderating, you may consider facing your building projects carefully to take advantage of current conditions.
You heard that from government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu. Now, Cowbank PLC delivered strong earnings for the 2025 financial year, with a profit before tax rising 16.2% to 481.4 million cedis. All the performance underscores a decisive turnaround anchored on capital restoration, cost discipline, and improving asset quality. Here's more on this report.
The bank's performance marks a strong recovery from 2024, when profit before tax stood at 414.2 million Ghana cedis, signaling renewed financial stability after an extensive balance sheet restructuring. Operating income rose 10.4% year-on-year to 886 million Ghana cedis, reflecting a more balanced revenue mix. Net interest income increased 12.8% to 513.6 million Ghana cedis, while net fees and commissions grew 17.9% to 211 million Ghana cedis, supported by transaction banking and digital channels. Net trading income surged 65.7% to 150 million Ghana cedis, boosting earnings resilience. Cost discipline further strengthened profitability. Other operating expenses declined to 224.4 million Ghana cedis from 292.2 million Ghana cedis, while a net impairment gain of 193.7 million Ghana cedis underscored improved loan recoveries. A 900 million Ghana cedi oversubscribed rights issue restored capital, lifting shareholders' equity to 1.53 billion Ghana cedis. The capital adequacy ratio rebounded to 19.8%, while the non-performing loan ratio fell sharply to 17%. Management says the bank enters 2026 fully capitalized and strategically repositioned. Key priorities include selective credit expansion, deepening retail and SME banking, accelerating digital transformation, expanding non-interest income streams, and maintaining strict cost and risk discipline.
That was a news desk report filed by Citi Business News Neti Ajaho. Now, the Ashanti Regional Branch of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has threatened to close down foreign-owned retail shops if the Trade Ministry fails to reach a fair agreement with them on retail trade regulations. On speaking to Citi Business News, the Ashanti Regional Vice Chairman of GUTA, Nana Nyame, expressed deep concern over what he described as a growing takeover of local markets by foreign operators.
Before the
2024 elections, we engaged a presidential candidate, all of them assuring us of their support. However, it's been a year of President John Mahama, but we are yet to receive an invitation to discuss the matter. We wrote down our grievances, submitted them to the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Director, and informed him that if government does not prevent foreigners from dominating our retail business, we will first close down our shops. If that does not get us the desired result, we will loot the foreign-owned shops.
That was Nana Nyame, the Ashanti Regional Vice Chairman of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. Now, government is set to commence processes for a nationwide SIM card registration exercise. Minister for Communication, Innovations and Digital Technology, Samuel Nati George, announced this at a Data Protection Commission conference here in Accra. Well, according to the minister, the upcoming SIM re-registration will be structured to ensure customer convenience with measures aimed at preventing long queues and disruptions while strengthening data integrity and national security.
The failure in the last SIM card registration has left us with the difficult but necessary decision. After extensive cabinet deliberation, we're announcing the beginning of the processes for a new SIM card registration exercise across the whole country. This exercise will be the first in our history to have live verification against the NIA's database and provide biometric verification for every registration. Let me state this upfront. The upcoming SIM card registration exercise will prioritize customers' comfort. We are putting in place measures, working with the Chamber of Telecoms, to avoid long queues, including self-service portals and a seamless process for completing the registration.
Minister for Communication, Innovations and Digital Technology, Samuel Nati George. Now, latest findings from the PwC Africa Workforce Hopes and Fears survey indicates that nearly half of all roles across Africa could be reshaped by artificial intelligence within the next 3 years. Or yet, despite the scale of the anticipated disruption, workforce sentiment remains notably resilient. 78% of employees in West Africa express strong trust in their leaders, while 2/3 say they find deep meaning in their work. Here is more.
The PwC Africa Workforce Hopes and Fears Survey Forum highlighted a continent at a critical digital crossroad. While AI holds the potential to significantly boost productivity, the survey indicates that 49% of jobs across Africa are likely to be affected by AI deployment. One of the most striking findings was the trust dividend. Although employee-manager relationships globally often face challenges, West Africa stands out with comparatively high levels of trust between employees and leadership. Associate Director of Workforce Transformation at PwC Ghana, David Che, provides further insight into the key findings of the survey.
Interestingly, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of curiosity, there's a lot of positive feeling about how AI is going to impact work. Employees are excited that when they take advantage of AI, they will improve their productivity. And that is very important. They are also excited about the fact that the flexi work that we've been all crying for, the usage of AI is going to make them more efficient and effective, which means that they can have some time to do some things outside work that is important to them. We also noticed that there's a lot of confidence and trust from the employees in their managers and the availability and the capability of their managers and business leaders to support them to develop, to grow, and to be ready for the future.
The forum concluded with a clear message for African leadership. That is, to achieve sustainable performance, organizations must prioritize reskilling or risk stagnation.
Individuals, as business leaders, as industry and academic, how do we collaborate? How do we work together to be able to develop curriculum that prepares people, our young people, so that by the time they are coming into work, their skills are relevant, their skills are unique. So that though the traditional jobs may not be there, they are prepared and able to help us as organizations to meet our objectives.
You had the Associate Director of Workforce Transformation at PwC Ghana, David Che, and in our report by Natalie Neti Ajaho. Well, that's how we wrap up the Thursday edition of the Citi Business News and Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic Verse. Do more, shine more. Big up. I'm Akosia Otre. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
As part of Heritage Month 2026, we bring you the On-Air series, Our Culture, Our Story, Our Identity. In week 1, the sound of our identity. In week 2, our past, our power. In week 3, faces of the nation. In week 4, what we eat, who we are. The Heritage On-Air series 2026, Our Culture, Our Story, Our Identity will air every Monday to Thursday on 97.3 Citi FM at 9 a.m. and on Channel 1 TV at 10 a.m. The Heritage On Air Series 2026 is proudly sponsored by GTP and GCB Bank.
Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses, and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools, and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofuswejari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 679326 or 0242 585419. Media partners: Daily Graphic, Media General, Radio Gold, Citi FM, and Channel 1 TV. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ah, go me. And what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind says be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go, the go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, and this is Point Blank. Tonight on Point Blank, we go to Parliament because the minority leader Osahene Alexander Peyomakin is currently addressing a public lecture on the theme Center Left, Center Right, formulating policies that serve a growing democracy. Being held at the office of the being held in Parliament. Let's hear the minority leader Alexander Peyomakin.
It is constitutional moderation
Then Article 37 anchors Ghana's social order in quote, freedom, equality, justice, probity, and accountability, and expressly links these values to the fundamental human rights enshrined in Chapter 5 of the Constitution. This is no accident of drafting at all, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. It is a deliberate constitutional architecture. The same moral vocabulary that animates the preamble is carried forward into the directive principles of state policy. But we must also be clear about what the Constitution does and does not. The Constitution makes promises, and in other areas it is silent. So we say that which it has not promised. It does not guarantee uniform outcomes, by the way. It does not impose artificial sameness. What it demands is something both more modest and more profound. Equality before the law and equality of opportunity. It requires the state to create conditions in which every Ghanaian, regardless of birth, background, or belief, has a real and fair chance to pursue a life of dignity. What it demands is something, what that means is that there is a constitutional commitment, not enforced uniformity, but a structured fairness, not leveling down, but opening doors. This is a constitutional promise we betray every day, that fatigue carries burden in a watchy kitchen with no pathway out. So when critics ask whether centrism is foreign to Ghana's political culture, the answer, the resounding constitutional answer, which I beg in all humility but with firmness of mind to submit, is a big no. Because centrism is not foreign to Ghana. Centrism is written into Ghana's constitutional DNA. Our challenge is not to invert centrism. Our challenge is to opportunize what the Constitution already envisions: a democratic state that balances liberty and justice, a market system that serves the common good, a republic where Fati's child has a much right to a future as the child of any minister, member of parliament, or judge in this land. That is not partisan philosophy. That is constitutional philosophy. And it is the only blueprint, I emphasize, the only blueprint worthy of growing a democracy. Now let me bring in Parliament the NDPC and the institutional guardians of centrism. Honorable Chair, a constitution that proclaims values without institutions to enforce them is little more than beautiful words on parchment. The framers understood this, and so they built the institutional machinery to translate centrist values into centrist governance. Two institutions above all others carry the responsibility: Parliament and the National Development Planning Commission. As you may be well aware, under Article 93(2) of the Constitution, legislative power of Ghana is vested in Parliament. Parliament is the institutional channel through which the sovereign will of the people is translated into law. But consider how Parliament is designed to do its work. Article 106 prescribed structured procedure for lawmaking: readings, committees, debates, deliberations, and measured consideration. These safeguards are not bureaucratic formalities, I beg to submit. They are constitutional brakes against extremism. the Constitution envisaged that a day will come that there will be a mighty minority of 87. There are constitutional breaks against extremism. They force the majority to slow down. There are times that I see the majority leader slowing down to accommodate us. They compel the powerful to listen. They require that before any law binds the people of Ghana, it must survive the scrutiny of argument and the discipline of transparent process. Consultation, compromise, and deliberation are not weaknesses in our parliamentary system. They are its centrist genius. Article 103 further empowers Parliament to establish committees to scrutinize policy proposals, refine them, and align them with national priorities. Parliament's duty, therefore, is not merely to pass laws. It is to ensure that every law passed, every budget approved, every executive action endorsed reflects the constitutional principle of balance, liberty with justice, market with social responsibility, and power with accountability. And yet, if we are honest, how often does Parliament perform this function with the rigor the Constitution demands? How often do we approve budgets not honestly assessed against our developmental objectives? How often does a majority use its numbers not to govern better, but simply to govern faster, bypassing the very deliberative safeguards the Constitution put in place to protect the people from excesses of power? I say this not merely as a critique of any one administration. I say it as a challenge to Parliament as an institution and to myself as a leader of a caucus. We must do better. Because when Parliament fails to be the centrist conscience of the Republic itself drifts towards extremes. Having laid this constitutional framework for Parliament, the legislature, for policy formulation, I now submit that it is precisely to harmonize national objectives into coherent long-term strategy that the same Constitution and Article 86 and 87 established the National Development Planning Commission. It mandated to transcend electoral cycles, harmonize sectoral objectives, and translate the directive principles of state policy into coordinated development strategy. Yet, it is my respectful submission that the NDPC has not fully realized this mandate. Concerns regarding its composition and perceived political character have limited its ability to command broad and enduring cross-party confidence. As a result, therefore, national planning has too often been episodic, one step forward, one step backward, rather than sustain national progression. Policies advance under one administration only to stall or shift under another. This cycle weakens investor confidence, disrupts policy continuity, and constrains sustained growth. If Ghana is to break this pattern, the architecture of national planning must inspire legitimacy across political traditions. A planning institution grounded in expertise rather than political alignment will provide a stable framework within which both center-left and center-right governments can pursue their preferred instruments while adhering to a shared long-term direction. Democracy must permit alternation of power. It must not permit alternation of national purpose and direction. If our democracy is to reach greater maturity, then both the center-right and center-left traditions then it must operate within a stable constitutional development framework. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit that as a country, we need a structural imperative. re-engineering of the National Development Planning Body, the Commission. If Ghana's development challenge is characterized by policy discontinuity with each electoral transition, then the remedy cannot be partisan victory alone. It must be institutional design. Although the framers of the Constitution established the NDPC as the constitutional anchor of long-term national planning, in practice, the Commission has not fully insulated national planning from political alternation. If we are serious about sustainable development, then incremental adjustment will not suffice. Structural reform is required. Therefore, I propose 5 interlocking reforms in this lecture. 1. Reconstituting the NDPC around technical competence. The credibility of a planning institution rests first on its composition. At present, perceptions of political alignment undermine confidence in the NDPC's neutrality. A structured commission should prioritize technical expertise across critical domains: macroeconomics, public finance, infrastructure engineering, education policy, agricultural transformation, digital systems, environmental sustainability, and industrial strategy. Representation should be competence-driven rather than politically symbolic. This is not to exclude democratic oversight. It is to ensure that national planning is guided by evidence, modeling, and long-term projections rather than short-term partisan incentives. When planning authority rests on professional credibility, continuity becomes intellectually defensible rather than politically imposed. Second, supermajority parliamentary confirmation of key appointments. I submit that to strengthen legitimacy, appointment to the NDPC, particularly its chair and core technical members, should require supermajority approval in Parliament. A 2/3 confirmation threshold would, 1, encourage bipartisan consultation before nomination, reduce overt partisan capture, and again, signal that national planning belongs to the Republic, not a party. Such a mechanism would elevate the Commission's authority and shield it from being perceived as an extension of the executive. 3, binding medium to long-term developmental frameworks. Ghana's development framework should carry structured continuity obligations. This does not mean future governments cannot innovate. It means they must justify deviation transparently within an agreed long-term architecture. Development requires time, and time requires stability for development to manifest. A constitutionally backed 15 to 25-year national development framework, reviewed periodically but not discarded wholesale, would ensure the following. 1, industrial policies mature before evaluation. Infrastructure sequencing follows coherent logic. And finally, fiscal anchors are not politically recalibrated at every transition. 4, fiscal responsibility embedded within development planning. One of the recurrent disruptions in Ghana's developmental trajectory has been macroeconomic instability. Planning cannot be divorced from fiscal realism. The NDPC framework should integrate binding fiscal rule, debt sustainability threshold, expenditure discipline parameters, and medium-term revenue mobilization strategies into development architecture. This ensures that ambition is matched by affordability. Redistributive commitment without fiscal anchors creates inflationary pressures. Industrial ambition without debt discipline creates vulnerability. Therefore, development planning must internalize macroeconomic constraints from inception. 5. Institutionalization of policy impact evaluation and continuity audits. I submit further that a reformed NDPC must not merely design plans, it must evaluate them rigorously. Independent policy impact assessments should be mandatory at defined intervals. When administrations change, structured continuity audit should assess which projects are 1. Near completion, 2. Economically viable, and 3. Strategically essential to national development. Projects that meet objective criteria should continue irrespective of political origin. This should operationalize Article 35 directive regarding continuity of public projects and project national investment from partisan resets.
Minority leader in Ghana's parliament, Osahene Alexander Apenyomak, a member of parliament for the Futu constituency, in that public lecture happening in parliament under the theme Center Left, Center Right, formulating policies that serve a growing democracy. And that's it for another exciting edition of Eyewitness News that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafe. Earlier you heard Akusia Ochre, show produced by Kwabna Wilson, Beverly London, and Fed Tete Jabano, with technical assistance from Imano Latte. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. May the good Lord be with us all.